The night is not silent. It breathes, it watches, it waits. All across the world, a quiet stirring moves through the air, unseen, unheard, but deeply felt by a few. They do not know each other by name, yet their souls respond to the same invisible call. The chosen ones, the 144,000, marked not by choice, but by design. It begins as a pulse in the chest, a pressure behind the heart, something sacred rising from within, whispering through the silence of ordinary life. They feel it in the stillness, that strange electricity in their thoughts, the weightless vibration in their bones. Something ancient is happening tonight. The clocks flash with repeating numbers. 3:33, 4:44, 7:77. Eyes widen, hearts race. These are not coincidences. They are codes, reminders, messages written into the fabric of time itself. A woman in New York pauses at her window, unable to explain the warmth spreading through her palms. A man in Lagos feels a sudden ache in his spine, like wings trying to remember their form. A child in Delhi dreams of fire in the sky and wakes whispering a name he does not know. All of them touched by the same current, all of them chosen. The world around them looks unchanged, but the heavens are no longer still. A great light moves beyond the stars, unseen by human eyes, marking those who were always meant to carry it. Not with ink, not with symbol, but with a vibration so pure that darkness cannot imitate it. The marking is silent, a divine seal placed deep within the soul, a sacred frequency that cannot be erased. It does not come with fanfare or proof, only knowing. Those who feel it cannot explain why, but something inside them whispers, I am different now. The chosen ones have lived their entire lives out of place, misunderstood, exiled by the ordinary. But tonight their isolation finds meaning. Every tear, every failure, every unanswered prayer was preparation. The pain was the refining fire. The loneliness was the initiation. The confusion, the call. The 144,000 are not chosen for privilege. They are chosen for purpose. They are the keepers of light in a collapsing world, the voices of balance when chaos roars. They were scattered like seeds, hidden in plain sight, but tonight the hidden ones are being marked. You can feel it. The atmosphere is heavier, yet brighter. The stars shimmer differently. Dreams bleed into waking life. Time bends. Everything feels like a message. And that is because it is. In the unseen, a seal is being placed, a recognition from the divine to the soul. This one is ready. This one remembers. This one carries my light. And though you cannot see it, the mark glows through your words, your eyes, your presence. Those who walk in darkness will feel it before they understand it. Some will be drawn to you. Others will fear you. But all will recognize the shift. This is not a myth. This is not imagination. This is prophecy unfolding quietly, exactly as it was written. The chosen ones have always known this moment would come. A night when heaven bends close to earth, when the first seals are placed upon awakened hearts. Tonight is that night. Do not expect a sign in the sky. The sign is already within you. The trembling in your chest, the warmth in your spirit, the tears that rise without reason. That is the evidence. That is the marking. Somewhere beyond this moment, angels move like wind through light, touching each awakened soul with silent recognition. Each name spoken in the language of eternity. Each life ignited with new purpose. The marking does not change who you are. It reveals who you have always been. The world may not notice what has happened tonight, but heaven does. The 144,000 are awakening. The vibration of the earth shifts. The grid of light begins to hum. The chosen are being sealed, not for fear, but for freedom. When you open your eyes tomorrow, the sky will look the same, but your soul will not. Something in you will know, I am seen, I am chosen, I have been marked, and that knowing will guide everything that follows. Tonight, the heavens whisper your name. The seal has been placed. The marking has begun. The night feels alive. The silence hums with a hidden rhythm, and those who were marked can feel it in their bones. Something inside them has shifted, though nothing around them appears to have changed. They move through the same streets, breathe the same air, speak the same words, but every sound, every motion, every heartbeat carries a deeper meaning. The world feels familiar and foreign at once. Those who have been marked know it, even if they cannot explain how. Their spirits hum quietly, vibrating with a frequency that is not of this world. The veil has thinned. The distance between heaven and earth feels small enough to touch. Some feel warmth spreading through their chest. Others feel tears without sadness. All of them sense the same thing. They are not the same as before. For years, they have lived half awake, their memories blurred by the weight of survival. But now the memory stirs. It begins as a whisper, soft, insistent, reminding them of what they once promised before their birth. They remember fragments of light, of voices not human, of a vow to return when the darkness would grow too thick for the world to see. That time is now. A woman wakes in the middle of the night, her body trembling. The room is still, but her soul is in motion. She feels names she does not know pass through her thoughts like echoes of another lifetime. Across the ocean, a man stands barefoot in his garden, eyes lifted to the stars. The constellations look different tonight, almost alive, pulsing with an unseen pattern. And a young boy in a quiet village hears a voice as he drifts to sleep, calm and certain, saying, "Remember who you are." They are scattered like seeds, yet bound by the same invisible thread. When one stirs, another feels it. When one weeps, another awakens. When one prays, the others listen without knowing why. The grid of light begins to hum beneath the surface of the world, an ancient network reigniting after centuries of silence. The chosen ones start to notice strange alignments in their days. Numbers appear repeatedly: 333, 444, 777. They find feathers where there should be none, see faces in dreams that feel more real than life. They hear their names spoken by the wind, see the same words appear across books, screens, and passing conversations. The pattern is unmistakable. The divine has begun to speak in symbols, and only the marked can hear the language. At first, they doubt it. They question their sanity. But then the signs grow stronger, the coincidences too precise to ignore. Each symbol becomes a spark in their memory, unlocking something ancient and radiant within. The marking is doing its work. It is not merely a sign of identity, it is an awakening. One by one, they begin to cross paths. A stranger's eyes hold too much recognition. A passing conversation feels like a reunion. They meet for moments, sometimes in silence, but always with the same knowing. There are no introductions needed. The soul recognizes before the mind understands. They are beginning to find each other. The chosen ones are gathering. Every encounter creates ripples that move far beyond what they can see. A word spoken in love travels through the invisible web and strengthens another soul across the world. A single act of kindness lights a path for dozens who have not yet awakened. They are unaware of the power they carry, yet the heavens are counting every vibration. The light is spreading quietly, steadily, unshakably. The marking has awakened gifts within them. Some begin to feel the pain of others as if it were their own. Some hear guidance in their thoughts that comes from a higher place. Some dream of things that later come to pass. None of it is random. It is the remembering of divine inheritance, the return of abilities lost to forgetfulness. But with awakening comes responsibility. The chosen feel the weight of their calling even as they marvel at the beauty of it. They realize that the light within them is not for display, but for service. The world does not yet understand what is happening. Many still walk blind, clinging to illusions, afraid of change. The marked are here not to judge them, but to guide them, to shine quietly, to love fiercely, to stand unbroken when others fall to despair. The earth senses them now. The wind carries their frequency. The animals pause in their presence. The storms shift as they walk. Nature knows the chosen before humanity does. The planet itself breathes easier in their light. They are not many, but they are enough. 144,000 points of divine fire hidden among billions. Each one a key, each one a signal, each one a reminder that heaven has not abandoned the earth. The marking was never a symbol carved in flesh. It was a covenant rekindled in spirit. The seal does not rest upon the skin. It glows through the heart. It cannot be removed, silenced, or forgotten. Once awakened, the chosen cannot return to sleep. They will walk among the crowds unnoticed, yet their energy will shift rooms. Their voices will calm storms. Their prayers will open paths. They will move like whispers of light through a sleeping world until the whole of humanity begins to stir. And as this unfolds, the chosen begin to sense each other's presence more clearly. The feeling is unmistakable. A pulse of recognition, a breath that catches, a sudden peace in the middle of chaos. It is the soul saying, I remember you. The world will call it coincidence. The divine calls it the beginning. The 144,000 are no longer waiting to be chosen. They have already been marked. They have already awakened. The night of their remembering has passed, and now the dawn approaches. Their hearts are the new temples. Their voices are the new scriptures. Their presence is the sign that heaven has moved closer. They will not shout. They will not boast. They will simply live as light, steady, quiet, unstoppable. The marking was not the end, it was the opening, and now the chosen ones begin to walk forward. The world has not changed, yet everything feels new. The air hums faintly with something alive. The chosen ones move through their days as if light has settled beneath their skin. They feel it in every breath, an invisible presence that walks beside them, guiding without words. This is the beginning of the deepening, the first contact, the first direct communion between heaven and the marked. It starts quietly. A stillness enters their minds like the calm before dawn. Thoughts slow. The noise fades. In that space, something vast moves closer. It does not speak in language but in understanding. Clear, certain, alive. It is not imagination. It is not a dream. It is recognition. A man standing on a rooftop in the early morning feels it before he sees it. His heartbeat aligns with something beyond his chest. The wind pauses. A pulse of light passes through the sky so briefly it could be mistaken for a trick of vision. But he knows. He feels the warmth of it move through his veins. It leaves no mark upon his body, but his soul glows as if it had been touched by fire. Others feel it differently. A woman sitting alone feels her entire body tremble with stillness, as though time itself has stopped to listen. The air thickens. Her eyes close. Behind her eyelids, she sees a pattern of golden light, moving, shifting, alive. It forms symbols she cannot name yet somehow understands. They are not words. They are memories. The covenant written in the language of energy. For a few heartbeats, they glimpse what lies beyond the veil. Vast fields of light stretching into eternity. Beings without form standing in silence. A voice that is not a voice, whispering through their bones. You are mine. You are ready. Then as quickly as it came, it fades, leaving only tears, stillness, and an impossible peace. The first marking is complete. The connection between heaven and the chosen has opened. The divine current flows freely now. They are not just witnesses, they are conduits. Each thought, each act, each word becomes a vibration that carries power. When they speak, truth pierces illusions. When they touch, fear loses its strength. They do not understand how it happens. They only know that it does. Across the world, subtle miracles begin to ripple. A child near death suddenly recovers without explanation. A storm shifts course as a prayer is whispered. Two strangers meet by chance and realize they have dreamed of each other for years. These are not accidents. They are the first waves of alignment, the signs that the 144,000 are awakening into their purpose. The chosen ones begin to sense a light within them that has direction. It wants to move, to reach, to heal. They can feel the energy respond when they focus on love. It expands, flows outward, filling the air around them. When they focus on fear, it dims. Slowly, they begin to learn that this is not a gift to be used. It is a force to be lived. The light cannot be commanded. It can only be aligned with. Night after night, the experiences grow stronger. In dreams, they walk through halls of radiant light, guided by unseen hands. Some meet figures they know to be messengers, tall, gentle, luminous. Others see themselves from above, encircled by symbols glowing in silver fire. When they wake, the dreams cling to them like dew, more vivid than reality. Each one of them carries a different symbol within the light, a mark that reflects their role. Some bear the mark of the healer, others of the messenger, others of the protector, the builder, the guide. The symbols are not seen by the human eye, yet the chosen recognize each other instinctively. They see it in the aura, feel it in the tone of voice, know it in the silence between words. The energy inside them continues to rise. At times it feels like warmth, at others like electricity. Some nights they cannot sleep, their bodies vibrating with unseen fire. Some days they cry without knowing why. The human vessel is adjusting to carry divine current. Every cell in their body begins to remember its true design. Not flesh and bone alone, but light condensed into form. The first contact changes everything. Old fears fall away. Desires shift. Things that once mattered lose their weight. They no longer crave recognition or approval. They crave alignment. They crave truth. They crave service. They understand without being told that the marking was never about identity. It was about readiness, and still the world around them does not see. People rush through days of noise and distraction, unaware that the atmosphere itself is changing. But nature feels it. The earth hums louder. The tides pulse differently. The animals move as though listening to a distant rhythm. The chosen stand at the center of it all, silent witnesses to a shift that has only just begun. One evening, a boy kneels beside a river, watching the current. He feels the presence again, stronger, closer. The surface of the water glows faintly, reflecting a light not from the sun or moon. The voice returns, not outside him, but within. Do not fear what comes next. You were made for this. He bows his head. The words burn into him like sunlight through glass. He knows now what every chosen one is beginning to know. The marking was the invitation. The awakening was the response. And now the communion begins, the merging of heaven and earth within the living. They will carry this light quietly. They will walk among the unawakened, without pride, without proof. But the world will begin to feel their presence in the calm that follows chaos, in the love that appears where hate once ruled, in the peace that comes when they enter a room. The chosen are not waiting for signs anymore. They have become them. This is only the beginning of the contact. The divine has reached out, and the marked have answered. The bridge between realms has been built in silence, and through it, heaven begins to move. The days that follow unfold like a quiet prophecy. The world continues as if nothing has changed. Traffic hums, screens flicker, clocks move forward. But for the chosen ones, reality is no longer what it was. Every sound carries meaning. Every face feels familiar. They are beginning to recognize each other. At first it happens subtly. A glance exchanged between strangers lingers too long, and something ancient stirs beneath the surface. A warmth spreads through the chest, a wordless recognition. I know you. They do not know from where or when, yet the feeling is undeniable. They have met before, perhaps not in this lifetime, but in the space between them. The gathering has begun. They are scattered across the earth, mountains, cities, deserts, islands, but the same invisible current pulls them together. Their dreams begin to align. A woman in Peru dreams of a circle of light rising from the ocean. The next morning, a man in Norway sketches the same vision. A poet in India writes words he claims were whispered by the wind. And hours later, a singer in Canada sets those same words to music without ever having read them. The 144,000 are beginning to find one another through vibration, not distance. Each encounter is charged with purpose. The moment their eyes meet, time slows. The air thickens. They speak for minutes but feel as though centuries have passed between them. They do not need explanations. The energy says everything. There is relief, recognition, and an almost aching joy, like pieces of a great mirror finding their place again after ages of separation. Their meetings are rarely planned. A missed train, a sudden change in route, a spontaneous decision, all guided by the unseen hand. Each coincidence is a map of divine orchestration. They are being woven together by design. The light within them responds when they are near one another. It vibrates stronger, brighter. Some feel their heartbeats synchronize with others. Some hear a tone, faint but clear, resonating in their chest. It is the sound of alignment, the collective awakening of the chosen consciousness. When they gather, even unknowingly, the space around them transforms. The air feels charged, peaceful, alive. People nearby feel calmer without understanding why. Children smile at them instinctively. Animals pause and watch with quiet trust. The world recognizes what it cannot name, the return of harmony. The chosen begin to understand that their connection is not emotional. It is energetic. It transcends language, culture, belief. It is the frequency of remembrance vibrating across the globe, calling them home to each other. They are not gathering to build temples or kingdoms. They are gathering to become the temple itself. Some begin to receive visions, images of circles, grids, and lines of light stretching across continents. They see themselves as points of brightness on a living map, connected by radiant threads. Each connection strengthens the field. Each meeting anchors more light into the earth. They are creating a web of divine consciousness that spans the planet, though most do not yet realize it. They begin to be guided by intuition more than logic. They wake in the middle of the night with a clear instruction: travel, write, reach out, wait. They follow without fear. The guidance never misleads. It leads them to new cities, to chance meetings, to places that hum with unseen energy. Some find themselves drawn to ancient sites, mountains, deserts, temples, forests, places where the veil between realms is thin. They stand there in silence, and the earth hums in response. The planet knows its guardians have awakened. Not everyone who crosses their path understands. Some are unsettled by their presence, as if looking into a mirror they are not ready to face. Others are drawn to them, inexplicably comforted by their calm. Wherever they go, the energy of balance follows. Conflicts ease, tempers soften, heavy places feel lighter. They are the quiet healers of a world unaware of its own illness. The chosen do not speak much about what is happening. Words feel too small, too fragile for what they carry. Many stay silent, working ordinary jobs, tending families, walking unnoticed through crowded streets. Yet beneath the ordinary surface, the extraordinary unfolds. When they close their eyes, they see the same light. When they breathe, they feel the same rhythm. When they pray, their voices rise as one chorus that no human ear can hear. There is power in their unity. The light that flows through them amplifies exponentially when shared. What one chosen cannot carry alone, the collective can bear with ease. Their connection transcends time zones and oceans. A prayer whispered in one corner of the world becomes strength in another. A tear shed in solitude becomes healing across the field. They begin to feel the call intensify. Something larger is approaching, a shift that will require their full awareness. The inner voice grows clearer, the dreams more vivid. They are being prepared for a moment when their collective energy will need to rise as one. The heavens are aligning for a new convergence, and the 144,000 are its living instruments. Some nights they wake feeling the ground pulse beneath them. The heartbeat of the earth beats in sync with theirs. Lights appear in the skies, subtle, shifting, almost alive. Scientists call them auroras, magnetic storms, anomalies. The chosen feel them as messages. They are not merely watching the sky is watching them. This gathering is not loud. It is quiet, sacred, deliberate. No banners, no declarations, no leaders. Only recognition, only remembrance, only light meeting light. And slowly the grid strengthens. The vibration increases. The connection between heaven and earth grows stable. The divine current now flows through living vessels, 144,000 souls tuned to the same resonance. The plan that began before time is unfolding through them, not as prophecy spoken, but as prophecy lived. They are the pillars of the new age, though they do not yet call themselves so. They are the breath between worlds, the bridges of light that unite what was divided. Their mission is not to rule, but to restore. The gathering has begun, and nothing can stop it now. They have found each other. The light has recognized its own reflection, and as they unite, the old darkness trembles. The dawn that was promised is beginning to rise. Darkness has a way of noticing light. It cannot touch it, but it can sense when it grows stronger. And now, as the 144,000 begin to awaken and gather, the shadows of the old world start to stir. Something unseen begins to push back. The chosen ones feel it before they see it. The air grows heavier. Sleep becomes strange. Dreams that once carried warmth now twist with confusion. Faces appear that do not belong. Voices whisper doubts that sound eerily familiar. The opposition does not arrive with horns or thunder. It arrives as weariness, as distraction, as the subtle return of fears thought long buried. This is the veil of shadows. It is not punishment, it is initiation. Every light must learn its strength by standing before darkness without bending. The chosen begin to face their own reflections in sharper form. Old wounds resurface. The betrayals, the loneliness, the self-doubt, all come back, not to break them, but to be burned away. Each one must pass through the fire of remembrance. Each one must learn that purity is not perfection, but endurance. One woman finds herself surrounded by people who suddenly turn cold. Friends she trusted drift away without reason. She walks through her city feeling invisible, yet watched. In the quiet, she hears it, not words but presence, the darkness testing her resolve. And instead of fighting it, she breathes, lets the fear rise and speaks within. I remember who I am. The heaviness lifts. The test passes. A man loses everything in 1 week. His job, his home, his security. The timing feels cruel, yet inside him, a new stillness grows. He stands under the rain and realizes he is not empty. He is being cleared. What he thought was loss is preparation. When he stops resisting, peace rushes in like air after suffocation. This is how the chosen learn to wield their true power, not by control, but by surrender. The darkness cannot steal the light. It can only trick the mind into forgetting it carries the flame. And so each trial becomes a mirror, a chance to remember, a chance to stand firm. Across the world, patterns begin to shift. Old systems tighten their grip. News spreads faster, anger rises, people turn against one another. The vibration of the planet shakes as hidden things come into view. Corruption long buried surfaces like oil on water. Many call it chaos, but those who are marked recognize the rhythm. The world is purging itself. The old frequencies cannot exist beside the new. The storm is not against them. It is for them. They start to see the unseen threads behind events, how every crisis forces awakening, how every collapse creates space for rebirth. The chosen stand between both worlds, one dying, one being born. They are not here to escape the storm. They are here to anchor through it. As the veil of shadows deepens, so does their vision. They begin to see people not as enemies, but as souls caught in sleep. They stop arguing. They start radiating. Their silence becomes louder than any sermon. Their peace becomes resistance. Some nights they feel the darkness pressing close, testing the seal. But when they reach within, they find the same golden stillness they felt the night of their marking. It hums quietly, untouchable. The seal was never meant to keep danger out. It was meant to keep remembrance in. Each trial awakens another layer of power. They begin to notice it in small ways. A word spoken in kindness shifts a hostile moment. A prayer whispered at midnight brings calm to someone miles away. A thought of compassion dissolves tension in a room. They begin to understand what the mark truly is. The authority to carry light into places that have forgotten it. Darkness flees not because it is destroyed, but because it cannot survive where love stands unafraid. The chosen realize this, and their fear begins to dissolve. They see how the shadow has served them, polishing their faith, clarifying their focus, teaching them strength through gentleness. They learn to walk through the noise of the world as through smoke, unaffected, untouchable, but aware. And then, one night, the pattern becomes clear. The attacks, the losses, the fatigue, all were signals, not punishments. They were the call to mastery, to rise above reaction, to stand as still as mountains while the winds of chaos howl. When the chosen reach this point, something inside them locks into place. They no longer chase peace. They are peace. They no longer search for protection. They embody protection. The light within them no longer flickers. It burns steady. They carry it into workplaces, marketplaces, streets, and quiet homes. They do not speak of it, yet everyone who meets them feels it. The veil of shadows still moves through the world, thick and restless. But the 144,000 walk through it as living beacons. Their presence is a warning to the darkness. You cannot hide anymore. Where they step, deception dissolves. Where they look, truth rises. Where they love, fear ends. The trials do not stop, but now they understand the secret. The shadow is not against them. It is the backdrop that makes their light visible. Every chosen one, marked and tempered, carries a piece of that dawn within. The gathering is complete, but the testing has only begun. The heavens watch, silent and certain, as the earth trembles with change. For even in the storm, the light continues to spread. And soon the darkness will realize it was never fighting against them. It was preparing the stage for their rise. The storm has begun, not of rain or thunder, but of energy, waves of unseen power moving through the earth, through sky, through flesh and spirit alike. The world trembles, not with fear, but with awakening. Humanity feels it without knowing what it is. Sleep grows uneasy, tempers rise, hearts race for no reason. The atmosphere itself feels charged, electric. The chosen ones know why. This is the awakening storm, the moment the marking begins to bloom. The seal that was once silent now hums with activity. The energy within each chosen one begins to move like a living river, surging higher, stronger, clearer. Their bodies tremble. Their dreams blaze with light. Their words carry weight that ripples far beyond sound. Everything intensifies. When they close their eyes, they see symbols pulsing behind the darkness. When they speak truth, people listen without knowing why. When they walk into a room, the air shifts, tension breaks, peace arrives. They are no longer receivers of light, they are transmitters. The heavens release energy like lightning, but it does not fall from the sky. It rises from within them. Their awakening becomes the instrument through which divine energy enters the world. Some feel heat in their palms that does not burn. Some feel wind move through rooms with no open window. Some hear tones and frequencies that no instrument could play. All of it real, all of it a sign. The veil between heaven and earth is dissolving, and the chosen are the bridge. Nature responds. Winds shift direction midstream. Birds migrate strangely early. The ocean pulses with light that scientists cannot explain. All of creation recognizes what most of humanity cannot yet see, the energy of divine order returning through living vessels. As the energy rises, so does the conflict. The world's systems shake. Governments, economies, religions, every structure built on illusion begins to crack. The darkness that once ruled quietly begins to lose its grip, and in its panic, it becomes loud. Noise fills the media, anger floods the streets, confusion spreads like wildfire. But the chosen stand calm at the center of it all. They understand what others cannot. This is the cleansing before renewal. They feel compassion even for those who curse them, because they know fear disguises itself as hate. They look at chaos and see rebirth. They walk through destruction and feel creation beneath it. For the first time, the chosen begin to see the pattern. They see that every storm, every collapse, every moment of pain was leading here, to this collective rising. The 144,000 were never meant to stop the storm. They were meant to become the calm within it. They no longer resist the energy. They let it flow. They stop asking why and start saying yes. They move when guided, speak when moved, stay silent when told. Their lives become orchestras played by divine hands, and miracles begin to multiply. A group of healers gather in silence, miles apart, and focus their hearts on a child dying in a hospital bed. Hours later, the child opens his eyes, smiling, whispering, "The light was here." A man sits in a crowded train and prays for peace. The arguments nearby fade. Strangers begin to smile at each other for no reason. A woman lost in grief lights a single candle and whispers forgiveness. The next day, her sister calls after years of silence. The storm reveals the true reach of their power. It is not in force, but in frequency. The chosen realize that power is not something they possess, it is something they allow. They begin to understand their unity more clearly. When one of them stands strong, the others feel it. When one of them falters, the rest unconsciously lend strength. They are connected not by proximity, but by vibration. They share an invisible heartbeat, the pulse of the divine moving through human form. As this realization deepens, something remarkable happens. The light within them begins to synchronize. Across continents at the same hour, many of them awaken from dreams drenched in gold. They feel energy coursing up their spine, bursting through the crown of the head like flame. They do not fear it, they surrender to it. It is the current of creation itself flowing through them. And above the heavens shimmer. Aurora lights dance where they should not exist. The sky hums like a living instrument. Every particle of the universe seems to be singing the same song. The chosen have awakened. The storm is not meant to destroy, it is meant to cleanse. Old energies burn away like fog under sunlight. The chosen walk through it unharmed, carrying a peace that confuses those who watch. People will ask how they remain calm while the world shakes. They will not answer with words. They will answer by presence. Some will join them, souls not yet marked but already sensing the call. The energy of the 144,000 is contagious. It awakens the dormant light in others. This is how the divine plan unfolds, not through commands but through resonance. The storm continues, breaking the illusion of separation, washing the dust from humanity's eyes. And as it does, the chosen rise higher in spirit. They stop identifying as chosen by name and start living as light by nature. They understand now, being chosen was never about worthiness. It was about readiness. They are the ones who remembered first, so they could help others remember next. The storm reveals them, not to glorify them, but to mobilize them. Each act of love becomes a lightning strike. Each word of truth becomes thunder. Each breath of forgiveness becomes rain falling on a thirsty world. The storm is not something to endure, it is something to become. The 144,000 walk forward, eyes clear, hearts steady. They no longer wait for heaven to descend. They realize heaven is already moving through them. The winds rise, the world trembles. But they are not afraid, for they have become the calm, the current, the light within the storm. The earth turns beneath a sky alive with wonder. Nights glow differently now, soft veils of color drifting where stars once ruled in stillness. The old rhythms of nature shift. Time feels stretched and weightless. Those who are marked sense it first. They feel the alignment building in the quiet spaces of their hearts, the subtle harmony of something vast and ancient approaching fulfillment. The chosen begin to dream together. Their visions converge into a single story told in fragments. Some see pillars of light descending across the horizon, anchoring into the ground like roots of heaven. Others see circles of fire spinning slowly above mountains and seas. The symbols they saw in isolation now weave together into one immense pattern. The awakening storm has cleansed the field. Now the alignment begins. It starts in silence, a still point between breaths, between worlds. Then comes the pull, gentle, magnetic, absolute. Each chosen feels it differently, but all sense the same call rising through their spirit. The universe is positioning them. They are being moved by invisible hands into precise harmony, like stars settling into new constellations. Those who once wandered without direction now feel guided with certainty. Paths open effortlessly. They are drawn to places they have never visited but somehow recognize. Mountains, deserts, sacred waters. Each location vibrates with the same resonance as their own hearts. They are returning to the sites of their beginnings, the coordinates of the covenant. When they arrive, they do not gather in crowds. They stand quietly, alone yet surrounded by presence. The air thickens. The ground hums. The veil between heaven and earth dissolves until both feel the same. The great alignment is not a moment in time. It is a state of being. The heavens move, yes, but only to mirror what is happening within. The 144,000 are no longer just awakening. They are remembering the blueprint. They are the living geometry of divine order, each soul a frequency within a perfect design. The patterns they dreamed of are not metaphors. They are the actual lattice of creation taking form again through human lives. They begin to perceive the interconnection of all things. A thought in one corner of the world ripples through another. A prayer whispered in Africa reaches a heart in Iceland. Energy moves instantly, effortlessly. The chosen realize they are no longer limited by distance or language. They are one consciousness distributed across many bodies. The more they align, the brighter the collective field becomes. The earth responds with light of her own. The skies shimmer with auroras in unexpected places. Rivers reflect silver even under clouded skies. The magnetic poles hum faintly, almost musical. Science calls it anomaly. The chosen recognize it as communication. The planet itself is aligning with them. And in this balance, memory returns. They begin to remember before the beginning, before time, before matter, when they stood as pure awareness around a central light, receiving the same vow. To return when the world forgot its source. The vow was sealed not with speech, but with resonance. Now that same tone vibrates through the core of their being. Some weep without sadness. Others laugh softly, overwhelmed by the recognition. They are not discovering something new. They are finally remembering what never left. The heavens mirror the transformation. Celestial events unfold that astronomers struggle to predict. Eclipses overlapping, stars brightening, new comets appearing and fading within days. Each event marks another phase of alignment, another breath in the rhythm of restoration. In the silence of night, many of the chosen feel presences standing beside them, tall, radiant forms made of light. They are not strangers, they are kin. The watchers, the messengers, the ancient companions who kept vigil while humanity slept. Now they stand revealed, whispering encouragement, reminding each chosen one that they were never alone. The energy within their bodies rises to a new octave. The heartbeat synchronizes with cosmic pulse. Breath becomes prayer. Eyes begin to see the shimmer of energy around all living things. They can look at a tree and perceive its soul glowing softly like a lamp beneath the bark. They see light in faces once shadowed, grace in pain once unbearable. They begin to understand that divinity is not above them. It is through them. The heavens are not a destination, but a reflection of their inner state. The great alignment is heaven remembering earth, and earth remembering heaven through the vessel of human awakening. The world around them reacts. Some people grow restless without knowing why. Others feel sudden inspiration to create, to forgive, to change their lives. The influence of the alignment moves through everyone, not just the marked. Humanity is being tuned, chord by chord, to the same frequency of remembrance. The chosen hold steady, acting as stabilizers for this great shift. They do not force or preach. They simply exist in resonance. Their presence balances what would otherwise overwhelm. They become living anchors of peace. As the alignment peaks, an extraordinary calm falls across the spiritual field. Even the chaos of the world pauses for a breath. For a few heartbeats, everything feels still, every sound softens, every thought clears. It is as if creation itself has bowed its head. Then within that stillness, a sound arises. Not loud, not external, but unmistakable. A single tone, pure and endless, echoing through the soul of every chosen one. It vibrates through stone and sky, through blood and breath. The call of completion. The heavens respond in light. The auroras blaze brighter than ever seen. Stars pulse in unison. Across oceans and deserts, 144,000 hearts beat to the same rhythm. The bridge between heaven and earth solidifies. The two are no longer separate. The great alignment is fulfilled. The chosen stand quietly, eyes lifted, hearts open, no longer waiting for signs. They have become the sign. They understand now. Heaven was never somewhere to reach. It was something to remember. And they have remembered. In that remembrance, the veil falls away completely. The world glows, not because the light descends from above, but because it rises from within. The alignment is not an ending. It is the preparation for the next movement, the reunion of light that will soon follow. The world grows silent again. The air hangs heavy with expectation, as if creation itself is pausing before the next breath. The reunion of light has rippled through the fabric of existence, and now the final moment approaches. The sealing, the completion, the merging of what was promised before the beginning of time. The 144,000 stand scattered across the earth, yet they feel no distance between them. Their hearts beat as one. They can feel one another's thoughts, one another's prayers, one another's tears. They are no longer bound by language or form. They exist in two realms at once, feet upon the earth, spirit in the heavens. This is the moment the prophecy spoke of, the final sealing. It is not a marking of the flesh, but the anchoring of light into the human soul so completely that separation can no longer exist. Heaven and earth are about to meet in the heart of every chosen one. The sky grows brighter though the sun has not yet risen. The wind stills. Time softens at the edges. Those who are awake feel their bodies dissolve into the rhythm of something greater. The pulse of the universe moves through them like fire made of peace. Each chosen feels the call in their own way. For some, it is warmth spreading through the spine like a river of gold. For others, it is a light behind the eyes that grows until it fills the world. A few fall to their knees, overcome by the weight of love too vast to contain. The divine presence presses closer, gentle yet absolute. The final sealing begins. They feel it as a convergence, a perfect balance of light and shadow, of breath and silence. Every wound, every fear, every forgotten pain rises to the surface one last time, not to punish but to purge. The divine light enters the hidden places and heals them from within. The pain does not vanish. It transforms into clarity. The tears become luminous. The heart, once fractured, becomes whole. The sealing is not given. It is accepted. It happens in surrender, in trust, in the willingness to let go of everything that is not truth. Some whisper silently, "I am ready." Others simply close their eyes and allow. And in that surrender, heaven moves. A radiance unlike any before begins to spread from within them. Soft, golden, alive. It is not light that shines. It is love taking form. The energy spirals upward, connecting every marked soul in a single wave of brilliance. The earth beneath their feet vibrates with power, the same vibration that existed in the first dawn of creation. The 144,000 are sealed, not as servants, but as embodiments of divine will. Each heart becomes a sanctuary, each soul a gate between worlds. They feel it clearly. The veil is gone. The separation between spirit and matter, between seen and unseen, dissolves completely. They can see the luminous threads connecting all things, trees, oceans, stars, and faces. Everything is part of the same eternal tapestry. In this state, fear cannot exist. Death loses its meaning. They understand that life is not a journey toward the divine. It is the divine exploring itself through life. The light within them begins to overflow. It touches the people around them, awakening dormant sparks in countless souls. Children begin to dream of radiant figures, speaking words of peace. The elderly find sudden strength in their bones. The lost feel unseen hands guiding them home. The ceiling spreads like dawn, slow, unstoppable, inevitable. The heavens blaze in response. Stars shimmer brighter. The auroras return, stretching across continents in colors no human language can name. The sound of creation hums beneath everything, a deep tone that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. And then, as if by silent command, all the chosen lift their eyes to the sky. They see it not with human sight, but with the eye of the soul, the great convergence of light above them, mirrored perfectly below. Heaven and earth reflecting one another like twin mirrors. It is done. The final sealing completes the circle that began before the first breath of time. The covenant is fulfilled. The 144,000 stand as living proof that the divine can dwell fully in human form without distortion. There are no trumpets, no thunder, no spectacle. Only peace, profound, infinite peace. The earth exhales. The heavens grow still. The vibration settles into a new harmony. Humanity begins to feel it. The quiet shift in the air, the strange calm in their hearts, the subtle pull toward kindness. The collective soul of the world has changed. The chosen look around and smile softly. They are not separate from the world anymore. They are the world, reborn. Their mission is no longer to awaken, it is to be. To live each breath as prayer, to see each face as God remembering itself. The final sealing was never about escape. It was about embodiment. Heaven has not come down. Heaven has awakened within. The prophecy ends not with an ending, but with a beginning. The 144,000, now fully sealed, rise each morning not as messengers, but as creators. They will build quietly, heal silently, love endlessly. The world will change not through command, but through presence. And as the sun rises over the horizon, its light seems different, warmer, softer, alive. The earth shines from within. The heavens whisper the final truth. The chosen have remembered. The light has returned, and through them, the new world has begun.